Deborah over at the Crafty Burner. So before we go into our whip and chat today, I wanted to show you guys the pen that I'm going to be using. This is a pen I got from Daniel over at Lassen Lathe Works. He's over at Facebook, so I'll link his page in my description box below. This is called Solar Pink, and I want it in one of his pen drops that he does 3 times a week. And I'll show you why it's called Solar Pink. Check it out. I go into the sun. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Like totally turned purple. Isn't that neat? You know, just turn back to pink once you get out of the sun. Yeah, solar pink. It only does that in the sun. Not that I will ever diamond paint in the sun, but so cool. And it's so different. But anyways, just wanted to show you guys this before we get into my whip and chat. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi everyone, it's Deborah over at the Crafty Burner. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is Thursday, September 3rd. And today we are going to be working on my whip and chat for Drills and Chills 2020. I'm working on Love at its Darkest from Diamond Art Club. It is a round 51 by 76 cm with 51 colors, including 2 AB colors. And it's a picture of Jack and Sally from A Nightmare Before Christmas. And if you don't know me, I love anything Disney. So I was just so excited to start working on this. And so far it's going great. Started this yesterday and I've already gone this far on my painting. So I think I'm gonna finish this pretty quick and then actually start the chuck along afterwards. I try not to do more than 1 diamond painting at a time, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have time to do the chuck along, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, so that's about it for Drills and Chills. Are you guys doing it? Seems like a fun thing to do. I'm really excited for it. So what's been new? Well, we are back in Colorado this week. Last weekend, we flew back to Dallas because we're buying a house. It actually happened fairly quickly. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. So I'm originally from Los Angeles. My husband and I, moved out to Texas almost 20 years ago. A big reason was for his job. They offered an opportunity to transfer out to Dallas. And, you know, he and I were both, you know, just fresh out of college, still struggling to, you know, get settled. And, you know, LA is just an expensive place to live. And we were kind of doing the math. And if we ever really wanted to buy a house or do anything, it was just, you know, it was just hard. It was hard to do it in LA. So moving to Texas just kind of made sense, you know, math-wise. And we kind of told ourselves, you know what, we'll just spend a couple of days or a couple years in Dallas and move back. At least that was the plan. 20 years later, here we are. But anyway, so we've been out in Texas for a long time, and we've been trying to convince family to come out here forever. And my youngest sister and her family have been actually thinking about coming out to Texas for a while now. And her husband was actually in the process of trying to get a transfer from his job to Dallas. And then COVID hit, and we felt like things were kind of put on hold after that. So we didn't really think much of it. And then a couple weeks ago, he kind of sent us a text and said, it's happening. And not only is it happening, he got an approval for a transfer, and the approval was going to be for October 1st. And we were kind of like, what? So it was kind of happening really fast. And our whole plan was always that we wanted them to not only move out here, but we wanted them close to us. So the way that was going to happen was we were going to have them buy our house, and we would just kind of buy another house like close to our current house so that we can all kind of be close together. But, you know, I mean, that was always under the plan that we had time. But now it just kind of felt like, okay, well, now we don't have time. So we got that news. And so while in Colorado, we found ourselves a realtor and kind of started looking, because the real estate market where we live is a little competitive. Mainly because we have a fairly good school district, and houses in certain price points do get pretty competitive because people do want to move in, and you know, you can get a house that's like pretty nice and move-in ready at a really nice attainable price point, and you can end up with like 6 different buyers trying to get that same house. And so, you know, we were a little worried about that. And so we were kind of looking at listings, well, in Colorado for houses in Texas. And we found one that was like not even a quarter mile from our old house. And it looked perfect. It was beautiful, you know, a nice Mediterranean style house, which is, for one, not something you see very often in Dallas. You know, where I grew up in LA, that's the kind of style houses I was used to. Here in Dallas, you get a lot of brick houses, which took some getting used to for me. But this house was Mediterranean style, so the kind of stucco that I was used to. And from the pictures, it was just immaculate. You know, it looked move-in ready. It looked like the owners had already moved out because the whole house was empty. They said it had a fresh coat of paint. Everything was clean inside and out. New HVAC system. Everything was just, it sounded like they just did everything, you know. And, you know, with houses like that, you kind of have to move kind of quick if you want it. So we put in an offer. We did go a little low on the list price because that's the way my husband likes to do. He never likes to pay more than he has to. So we went a little low on the offer, but they kind of accepted it right away, which made my husband a little worried, but we didn't think much about it. But they took our offer right away. So now we were in an option period, but we only had a 10-day option period, which meant, okay, if we want to see this house in person, because we did before we fully committed to buying this house, we needed to get home quick to see this, which meant we jumped on a plane this last weekend to go look at this house. Okay, so that was this past Saturday. Sorry, hold on. Let me just see what's my next color before I continue blabbing on. 796. Do I have 796 out? No. Okay, so anyways, this past Saturday is when we went out to look at this house. Oh, before that, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. A couple days before that, we had ordered an inspection, which is what you should always do when you buy a house anyways. So we had an inspection report come in. And the inspection report was kind of, we made sure to get a guy that was like known for being very thorough, who kind of checked all sorts of things. And the inspection report came back with things that we were kind of a little worried about, but you know, it was kind of things where we were like, okay, well, maybe we need to take a look at this when we're there. But it was things like, he said there were some electrical wiring that was questionable, where like switches didn't work. And when he took a closer look, it looked like they kind of took wires and kind of bypassed them around and did some other things where, I mean, they clearly weren't up to code. And said there were, well, the big thing was that he found evidence of a kitchen fire to the point where it looked like they kind of cleaned it up and covered it up in the kitchen, but the evidence went up into the attic, into the insulation, and he had taken pictures of that. And, you know, just kind of things like that. He found evidence of rodents in the attic, which is like gross, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, last summer when we came back from Colorado, after being gone for a whole summer, we had rats move into our attic, which was like gross, but, you know, it happens. It happens, you know. You can get squirrels or mice or rats move into your house. You just got to get rid of them. So, you know, no, it's not. Well, anyway, so we go to this house on Saturday and we walk in and it's okay, but like the house was dirty, you guys. And I mean, in the pictures, the listing pictures, the house was empty. There were people living in there, you guys. And I don't know if they were the owners or if they were renting it out, but there were clearly people living in there. Like there was furniture in there. There was stuff in the closets. There were people living in there and lived in hard. Like they clearly made an attempt to clean, but like you go to the kitchen counters and you know how like you wipe down the counters, but it's still greasy and sticky. Like you just kind of spread the grease around. It was like that, you know, like you can still feel the grease and you can still see it. And like the faucet head was kind of sticky, and the stovetop was loose. Like you can literally move it. And the cabinets and the walls, you guys, it was like these people always had dirty hands and they never washed them, and yet they had to touch every surface they walked by. I mean, that's how the surfaces looked. Where, I mean, I was already walking around thinking like, not only did I have to paint, but before I painted, I would have to bleach every surface first. Like a coat of paint wasn't gonna cover it all up. Like I would need to bleach everything before I even did that. Like that sort of bad. And, you know, I mean, and I was just looking at the surface cosmetic stuff. I mean, my husband's going around looking at these things like, there was a pool, and he went and looked at the pool pump and filter setup. And the way he described it, he said it looked as if it was something that he set up, and not in a good way. Like, it was like all hodgepodged and like hot glued together in a way like where he didn't even know if it really worked sort of way. And, you know, and it was kind of sad because in a way, I mean, the house was at a certain price point where that shouldn't have been the sort of state the house should have been in, if you guys know what I mean. And especially the way it was marketed as if it was move-in ready. Like it didn't need any sort of fixing up or anything else. I mean, the grill didn't work. I mean, the grill literally didn't work. Like it sunk in to the ground. It didn't work. You couldn't even turn it on. And like the door to the attic literally had a sign that said, "Do not enter." And I really think it's because of the mice in the attic. They didn't want the mice going into the house. I mean, they literally had a sign that told you not to open the door. I mean, why would you put that in a house that you are trying to sell? I don't know. Anyways, and then there were chipped and broken windows. And then even like the simplest things, like for a house that you're trying to sell, why would you not replace burned out light bulbs? I mean, that's easy. Why would you not replace that? Especially if you're showing a house to sell. You know what I mean? Like, just simple things like that. But anyways, I mean, we were in the option period. We're talking to our realtor and we're like, okay, what should we do? We do have the option to back out. We will lose our earnest money. And thankfully, it wasn't a ton. I mean, it was some money, but it wasn't like, this wasn't going to break us if we walked away from it. But we were kind of like, okay, you know what? We're going to go back to the sellers and we're going to tell them, okay, we honestly walked around the house and we assessed everything. And we're going to go back to the sellers and tell them, honestly, to get this house up to a state where it is going to be acceptable to hand over and for it to be moved in, it's going to take at least $100,000, to fix it up and get it to a point where it's okay to move in. And we're wanting them to pay for that. And the sellers came back and basically said, well, we're not fixing or paying for anything that is cosmetic. And we feel like because we listed everything that we felt needed to be fixed. And they said, we feel that everything you're asking for is unreasonable and it's cosmetic. And it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but rodents and broken windows are not cosmetic. And they also denied the fact that there was ever a kitchen fire, even though there's like evidence in your insulation and through your attic, but whatever. So anyway, so we walked away from that house. And, I checked today and their house is still listed on the market. So, and usually houses in our area go quick. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. I think they're kind of in denial about it. And what makes it worse, you guys, I found out later that the dude who lives in that house is a freaking doctor. A doctor, guys, and he lives like that. That's kind of gross, don't you think? That's kind of gross. Especially now when everyone's so hyper aware of washing your hands and germs and everything else. And he's like living like that, I mean, it really makes you think about how people are with their kitchens and everything else. It just makes me think about, I had a coworker once who refused to eat. Every time our office had a potluck, she never participated. And it was because she told me, like, you have no idea how other people are with their kitchens. You don't know what their kitchens look like. And, I always thought, okay, that's just overly paranoid. But then now after I see this, in the kind of house that I was in, and knowing that this guy was a doctor, that did make me think now. Because I never would have thought that. Never. So, you know what? I think she was onto something. Because that was gross. But anyway, so we went home to Dallas thinking that, okay, we found a house that we can move into, and then now we don't, and we still need to find one. So then Saturday turned into this mad scramble for us to find another house. So we spent this whole day looking at a couple of different listings, and we also ended up looking at a house that was that we never would have considered because it was way above our budget. But, we walked into it. just to look. And, you know, of course, now that's the house we're buying. It is in a brand new subdivision, maybe about a quarter mile from our current house. And they are just finishing building it out. So they put their 2 model homes on the market. And we looked at the second one, which had been on the market for almost a year. They have knocked the price of it down at least 3 times. So we were looking at it at the third listed price, the third time they've marked down this price. And the thing is with these model homes with the home builders is that they basically throw, or they put in every possible upgrade that they offer for their new homes into this model home, just so they can show potential buyers what you can get with their homes. So this house was a little ridiculous, guys. Like, you have like this little, it's like kind of pointless, but you got like this silly little fountain in the front when you walk up to it with like LED lighting. And it was kind of annoying because like there was a lockbox at the house, but apparently we couldn't go in, we couldn't just walk into the house with our realtor. Like, the sales girl insisted that she had to be there too. So we literally waited an hour in our cars for the sales girl to drive in from somewhere else just so she can like walk through the house with us, which was like a little ridiculous. Like, I don't know why she had to do that, but she insisted she had to do that so that she can like give us a sales spiel, you know, about this whole house. So I know that this silly little fountain at the front of the house was made because their designers at this corporate company or home builder, their designers added that in there because their designers have Tuscan influences, apparently, or whatever that means. So they threw in this fountain with LED lighting, and apparently that ups the price, of course. And we're standing in the kitchen, and it has like, you know, Sub-Zero appliances or whatever. And I forgot what else she was like rambling off. But so we're standing there, and then she turns to me and she says, "So, how do you feel in this kitchen?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, How do you feel in this kitchen?" And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Did you really just say that to me? Like, how many deals have you ever really closed by asking people that? Like, come on, like, shut up. You know, I don't feel anything standing in this random kitchen. You know, like, I'm trying to like, no, leave me alone. So anyways, I don't like being pushed into sales. And I'm just like, you know, especially when I'm looking at a house, like, this is not, you know, I felt like she was trying to sell me a car, but whatever, you know. And we're walking through, and she keeps following us, and I just don't like that. But, you know, this house, I mean, there were just things that I did like. What was funny, the laundry room, one of the upgrades, get this, guys, one of the upgrades was a dog wash, which I'm like so giddy about, because like, how useful is that? You know, when Maui, my dog, gets muddy after I walk him in the rain, put him in the laundry room, and like the dog wash was literally, it looks like a little tiled shower for my dog. Like, when we move in, I'm gonna have to show you guys this. And it has a shower head that I can take off with like hot and cold water, so that's gonna be awesome. So if he ever gets muddy, I'm just gonna push him in that shower and just hose him off. It's gonna be perfect. That's honestly like one of the things I'm most excited about. But the second coolest thing is that they have a built-in craft room. Seriously. They turned one of the bedrooms into a craft room because that was apparently one of the options offered. The only thing I don't like about that craft room is that they basically, the whole room is all built-ins and cabinets and pullouts. Like there's no wall space. So I won't be able to hang up anything. But I think I could work with it. I mean, that's high society problems. I know, like, okay, I'm not trying to come across as like complaining. I'm really not. So I am excited about it. So I'll just have to show you guys. It's really neat. I am excited for it. So, but all in all, the house is neat. It's neat. I mean, it's like just built to the gills with upgrades, when some of them are totally ridiculous and totally over the top. And I can totally see why it's been on the market for at least a year, because at the price it's at, I mean, while it's nice, I can see why people won't buy it, because they don't need all that stuff, you know, and we don't need all that stuff. But, you know, I mean, since they were at the end of their building and they needed to move on to their next subdivision, they were trying to like finally sell this model home, and they clearly had marked down the price at least 3 times. So we put in an offer, again, lower than their last lowest offer. And they did take it, but it wasn't without a lot of back and forth with that sales girl. And she just, that sales girl, you guys, she really bugs me. So we are getting that house, but dealing with her just really rubs me the wrong way. I mean, first we put in the offer, and then she kind of countered and said that she would give us a lower price if we ditched our real estate agent, which was like, because she didn't want to pay the fees that comes with us having an agent, which we were kind of like, you know what, that's kind of a jerk move. You know, our agent has been with us, and she had helped us find this house, and she's going to be helping us with a lot of things. And my husband works for fees, and he totally gets that whole thing. But bottom line, no, we're not going to ditch her. You know, we're just not. And so we came back with a different offer, and then she came back and said, okay, well, you guys are this was on a Saturday. And so she said, okay, well, I'm going to have to talk to my boss about this, but you know what? It's going to be hard because he doesn't pick up the phone. He turns off his phone on the weekends. And we're like, okay, you know what? Does he want to make a sale or not? Because I've never heard of a sales guy who doesn't ever pick up his phone. Like, come on, you know, like just stop, you know, like he's going to pick up his phone. Like, stop it with your whole like cheap sales tactic thing, you know? And then she comes back, she's like, oh, you guys are in luck. I was able to talk to him. And then, you know, every time she came back to us, it was always some ploy to create urgency, you know. And every time it was like, oh, I need an answer in an hour because this price is a limited time offer. And it's like, chick, this price has been lowered at least 3 times. And you're giving us this price at an even lower price. So the only limited time offer is us to you, because you're like testing our patience right now. Seriously. You know, and then she tried to pull this whole, there's a second buyer just waiting at the door. And so like, where's your second buyer? It's been on the market a year. Like, come on, just stop. Can you just stop and just work with us? Like, come on. But anyways, and then when it came time to do, I mean, it's not even really a contract. It was a purchase agreement. Every time, you know, the first time we had to send it back to her to do because she put down the wrong realtor. She didn't even get our realtor right. And then we had to resend it to her again because she had our contact information wrong. And then the third iteration, she sent back to us, and again, doing the whole, like, we really need this back in an hour. This is a limited time offer. Can you please text me when you do send it back so that I know you got it? And she puts her cell phone number. Well, her cell phone number is missing a digit. She could even put down her own cell phone number. Like, seriously, chick. Anyways, so yeah, she's a spaz. But anyways, so now that's all done. And we are closing on our house on the 15th. So there's that. So you guys will get to come along with that. It's all happening really fast. We are back in Colorado right now, but only for a couple more weeks. I think we are going to start driving back to Texas. Not this coming weekend, but next weekend. Hold on, I'm gonna get a drink. Okay, so that's all fun and exciting. My son has been back in school for a week now. He's doing virtual school, and that's been going okay. His first day back was that national Zoom outage. So he actually had trouble logging in for his first period class because of that outage. But after that, everything went pretty smoothly. His classes are okay. He likes his classes all right. I think it's funny that he still has PE virtually. And his PE teacher's making the best of it. But, you know, that's all going well. What else is going on? We had Subway for lunch today. And do you guys ever get your sandwiches made by like the sandwich artist, and you like ask them for like easy mayo, and they just like glob it on, which is like totally ridiculous. And I always feel like asking them like, okay, look, do you eat your sandwiches like that? Because I mean, to me, easy mayo is like, you know, maybe a little strip or something, but I'm like, seriously. Anyways, but well, you know, I think I'm at like 31 minutes, and I think I've like blabbed on enough. Plus I'm starting to get, my voice is starting to get hoarse. I don't usually talk this much. Hope it was interesting. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. If you stayed on this long, thank you. And if you enjoyed this WIP and Chat, please don't forget to give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe. And hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.